Okay, we're going to call to order. Good afternoon, Chairman. Okay, good afternoon, Board. We have, today is, today is September 24th, 2015. This is the 1 p.m. docket of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. The first item on the docket is Shaminder Kaur and Panakin Patel at 5418-20 Hartford Road, LLC. Trade name is Hartford Liquors. Again, that's at 5418-20 Hartford Road. It's a Class A beer, wine, and liquor transfer of application for ownership. On the file, I have received 2 letters, actually just yesterday, one this morning and one yesterday from the Hamilton Main Street Lauraville group, and the other one from the Waltherson Improvement Association, asking for a postponement, even though it is it's past the 72-hour time marker, but I just wanted to put those on the record, and I'll give you both letters.
Mr. Kudensky?
We objected to the lateness of receiving, and there's more than 72 hours, less than 72 hours. We're scheduled to go to settlement tomorrow. The bank is wiring money, and this application was filed on August the 14th. Now, the applicants will meet with the 2 community groups. I mean, I don't think there's any problem with them meeting with them. And I've advised them, and I gave copies of the letters to Ms. Cower, and she said she would be glad to contact them and meet with them.
How do we know, I'm just curious, how do we know that your clients are going to meet with these community groups? How would we know that?
You don't. They're no obligation to meet with them. We're just doing this voluntarily.
I understand.
I mean, if you wanted me to give you a letter after they meet with them and said, hey, they were in DEFCON 5, but they met with them, and I got that. And they want to be good neighbors. They really do.
There's no requirement that they meet with them, but
No.
it would be nice if you can put on the record on behalf of your client that they're going to meet with them.
I am. I didn't say that.
Good.
And you will agree to meet with those 2 community groups. That's correct? Okay.
Okay, let's go.
And this is a transfer from an existing location. Ms. Cower has had prior experience. She worked for about 1.5 years doing everything from sales to checking cards and so forth. She has, and I'll give you a copy of her alcohol awareness certificate. She'll be the full-time operator. They're buying through a family. They're buying the building also. In this case, Mr. Singh is, Mr. Patel, excuse me, is the local resident. He actually had a business down in Atlanta, Georgia, and
Why did you your accent just
Georgia?
change?
I
just noticed that.
Well,
It just changed just that quick.
yeah, the Rain Man told me to do that.
Rain Man?
Yeah, Rain Man.
Okay.
You want me to give it?
No. We had that last week with the dog and the pony
Okay.
show.
All right. And he's gonna.
Doing it because you know it's on TV.
Thank you very much. I'll put that in the file.
No.
And so he's going to help with his expertise because he was both in a restaurant and would distribute alcoholic beverages, and it's a straight transfer of an existing location.
Can I just show you something?
Mm-hmm. That's about what it looks like.
That's about what it looks like?
Mm-hmm. It's a all open space with coolers.
Exhibit that's attached. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
You know, I understand that, I understand it comports with the law technically. It says you're supposed to put in a drawing, but
We have to change it.
We'll give you an up-to-date one. After we meet the community, we'll get an up-to-date one also.
I mean,
I've done that before. I'm an executive secretary.
I understand it comports with the law, but really?
It's a liquor store.
I
the liquor
understand.
store.
You know, it's not.
I understand. I understand.
BD.
I
It's an A.
understand. I'm a yes.
Let me ask.
Oh, yes.
He's slow today. All right, thank you very much.
Won't be that slow.
Haven't had much practice.
That's it.
The second item, Lawrence Street, 1609 Lawrence Street, has been postponed until October 8th, 2015. The next item is Orla Kane and Zenep Tolasmir, and that's at 336 LLC. Trade name is Home Slice, 336 North Charles Street. This is a Class B, beer, wine, and liquor, and this is a transfer of ownership.
For the record.
Abraham Hurdle for 336 Charles LLC and the two licensees that are standing with me. Good to see you, Chairman and Commissioners. Mr. Jones. This is the existing location transfer. This is a longtime operator at this location. It is simply a situation where the existing licensee is getting a little elderly, and she's moving to Florida. I spoke with Tom Yeager of the Downtown Partnership. Again, this is a longtime licensee, no violations, no operational issues. He indicated to me that this was not a concern as long as the kind of management structure, operational methods stay in place. Nothing's going to change in terms of operation. I didn't provide a floor plan because it is not changing in any way, shape, or form. Nothing is changing about the establishment except there are two licensees that are being brought on. Both have restaurant experience. Ms. Kane has 5 years. Ms. Tostemir has more than 10 years. They will both be TAM certified by the time everything kind of goes forward. Ms. Tostemir does have the TAM certification already existing. They will both be functioning as assistant managers of the location.
Which
I
one?
proffer at this time.
Which one is Ms. Kane?
Ms. Kane is one with red hair.
Okay, and that's, I take it that's Ms.
Ms.
Tostemir.
Tostemir, that's correct.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners?
None.
Please see existing floor plan. Madam Secretary, is there anything we need in the file? It says see existing floor plan. I just,
Yeah, and the existing, since there was no change in the operations, he's correct. We didn't require an additional floor plan, and we have one in the file.
okay. I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners and Chairman.
Have a good day.
Okay. Jacqueline Beal, BSQ Wine Company. That is trade name Grand Cru, 5911 York Road. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, application for transfer of ownership.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Justin Williams from Rosenberg Martin Greenberg, here with colleague Caroline Hecker. Also with us is Jacqueline Beal, the licensee applicant, and the existing applicant also, and to her right is Jack Wells, the general manager of Grand Cru.
Counsel, do you intend to have your clients testify, or do you want to make a proffer?
Proceed by way of proffer.
Okay, go ahead.
So like the previous case before you, this is a simple transfer of ownership at the same location. Ms. Beal, in fact, we were here before you, this board, in March to approve the transfer from the
In the board, but not us.
The board, the
We didn't come on until July.
previous composition of the board in March,
Mr. Jones was here.
as was previously composed in March 2015, to approve the transfer of licensee ownership from Nelson Carrier, who was a longtime operator of Grand Cru, to Ms. Beal and John Unitas, and BSQ Wine LLC. Now, behind the scenes, Ms. Beal's decided to purchase Mr. Unitas' interest in BSQ Wine LLC, so that's why we're here before you today. The operation at Grand Cru will remain the same. Jack Wells was the general manager before and is continuing to serve in that role. The operation Grand Cru is well received by the community. We, in fact, met with the community on Tuesday at the Belvedere Improvement Association. They have expressed no objection. In the photos I handed to you, there are additional materials for your review, the menu, photos of the establishment.
Questions from the commissioners?
I have none.
Mr. Trotter?
None.
Madam Secretary, is everything in order and file?
Yes, sir. This is just, as Mr. Williams has stated, it's just a removal of one of the licensees and a 100% transfer to Ms. Beal.
I'm a yes.
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 Have a good day.
I've walked away for a second. Pardon me.
Grand Cru.
Arjender Singh, Michael Bradley, A&J Tavern. This is trade name JJ's Bar and Liquor at 1801 Ramsey Street. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor, a transfer of ownership.
Once again, Melvin Jaconescu, 19 Fayette Street for the applicant in this case. This is an application for an existing location. Mr. Chairman, I did look in my file, and I do think I have,
Better.
well, not to scale, but it does look,
Is that for this case or the one we just?
well, we could use it for both.
Okay.
Generic, we call them generic.
Yeah,
Generic bars.
So we have a nice,
I see that. It's a nice hand-drawn picture.
and along with that, the applicant has got his alcohol awareness. He has been fingerprinted. The other 1% owner, unfortunately, is at the Veterans Administration, you got kneecapped. He had, they had to take him in, and I have a copy of his discharge. He was just discharged 2 days ago to go home. Apparently, he had a problem with his knee, and he had some sort of poisoning in there, and they had to take him in. But he will, also get fingerprinted. The present applicant has been working with the current licensee, learning the neighborhood, getting familiar with the operation, and there's going to be no change in the way the building's been laid out.
I assume this is Mr. Singh.
Our gender saying it is.
I'm just curious. When you come into the premises, in order to get back here to the seating area, do you have to be buzzed in through an electronic door? And then,
Yeah.
and then they serve from this window?
Yes.
Yeah. It's been that way forever there,
No, I believe you,
Yeah.
just,
for safety purposes.
oh, you think? Okay. Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir, there's no other issues in regards to this application. It's, all the information has been attached. I have not received any complaints or any issues.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
All right, thank
And
you.
Getting it fingerprinted.
Yeah, he's fingerprint. The other one,
The other one got out of
Mr.
bounds.
Page will not.
Okay.
No, can't get past that barrier.
Right.
The next three items have been postponed. The first one was Sandbar, Baltimore, and that was at 101 West Fayette Street. That will be moved to October 22nd, 2015. The one after that is Desire, which was trade name Desire, what used to be Sherry Show Bar at 3821 Pulaski Highway. That's been postponed until 10/8/2015. The last one that's also been postponed is Maya, trade name Namaste Baltimore. That one also will be moved to October 8th, 2015. So the next item that I have is Brian Palumbo, the Public Library, trade name Public Library, 3323 Eastern Avenue. This is a new Class B, an application for a Class B beer and wine liquor license under provision 2B 6201D-7. This is for $500,000 capital investment in restaurant fixtures, facilities, and a seating capacity of a minimum of 75 people, and a request for outdoor table service.
Thank you, Madam Executive Secretary. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Trotter, and of course, Commissioner Jones. Always good to see you. We're here today on the public library. Chairman Neal, you know where that location is. Used to be the old Highlandtown Library on Eastern Avenue at South Highland Street. It's exciting. He is renting from the Southeast Community Development Corporation. So as you might imagine, they are in support of this project. I want to make sure that you have all the documentation.
I have one letter of support. I forgot about it.
Okay, great. And that is from
Canton.
what I call the Shelbyville. That's from the neighboring community association, the Canton Community Association, in support from Vice President Dan Tracy. Additionally, I have a letter, an original from the Highlandtown Business Association in support of the applicant. Here are 3 copies of that. Furthermore, I have a letter from Chris Ryer, the president of the Southeast Community Development Corporation.
Do you want these introduced as exhibits?
May I,
Mr. Fogarty?
collectively or
However
individually?
you want 'em.
Collectively is fine as one.
Sorry.
You've already received the letter in support from Canton.
Go to Michelle.
Okay, I'll put that in as one. It's a good one. Thank you.
One.
So this might be the most exciting thing in Highlandtown since you opened your law office there decades ago, Chairman Neal. In all honesty, this might be the most exciting thing since the Creative Alliance took over the Patterson Theater there about a decade ago. Mr. Palumbo is a tested veteran of the beer, wine, liquor, and restaurant industry here in Baltimore. He just celebrated his 5th anniversary with Alewife across from the Hippodrome. He has won Best Burger in Baltimore several times, Best Downtown Restaurant several times, and I'm excited because I live about 5 blocks away from the old Highlandtown Library, and his food is great, his beer selection is extensive, and he knows what he's doing. He's also going to be joined by Leila Gandhi, who is present to his right. She is the manager at Alewife currently, and she will be moving over and managing both establishments and be hiring great people who have experience in the industry. Mr. Palumbo's been alcohol management certified for years. No violations whatsoever at Alewife in 5 years. So at this point, if you'd like to know more specifics, we're happy to give it to you or hear from the licensee himself.
No, the young lady, excuse me, I've forgotten your name.
Ms. Gandhi?
Gandhi, yes. She has experience in liquor sales. She's going to be the manager.
Yes,
right?
and she's currently the manager of Alewife Restaurant on North Utah Street.
Okay, gotcha. What's the expected opening date?
As you see, he spent $515,000 so far on the build-out,
Right.
and darn if he still doesn't have some more to spend. So,
Minimum of 75 people.
and he has 84 seats. Mr. Palumbo, last time I checked, we were looking at November for an opening. Isn't that about right? Give or take.
Perpetually 8 weeks away.
He says he's perpetually 8 weeks away, but I think it'll be open by the end of the year. And he understands. He has
But
time
it's-
requirements.
It's been
once.
perpetually open for a long time.
And
With the black plywood. And,
right.
Well, that went up during the riot.
Yeah, I understand why. Yeah, okay. Across from the bank.
If you could see inside, it's beautiful.
I've been inside. Not recently.
So we're excited, and as I say, I think it's going to be a jewel in the crown of the Eastern Avenue of the future. So I hope you'll agree.
What type of food service?
It is American cuisine for the most part. Mr. Palumbo has an award-winning chef at Alewife, and he'll be hiring a great chef there. But it's everything from burgers, steaks. They were even cooking with snakeheads when the snakehead fish was an issue. They actually were serving that up. But they're a little bit experimental, but always savory.
Experimental, did it put your beer selection, your basement beer selection on the list?
That's a prerequisite for representation. Yes. Always good to see you. And can I tell you, he is a zoning guru. Everything I know about zoning, I learned from him.
I just asked him in the back room some questions about zoning so, and liquor board, so.
Yeah, I got in trouble calling that a back room one time.
Oh,
So
I'm
it's,
sorry.
I'd call it conference room 3. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, okay. Ready to vote? I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Good luck,
It's always a
folks.
pleasure.
I'm
Good
2
luck.
blocks away.
That's right. We'll see you there.
You probably will.
Here it comes.
Not yet, I don't think. Don't we have this one?
One more. You have a return to open.
Whatever's next.
Okay. Michael Equibe, Telke Zimical, and that is M&T Liquor Mart and LLC. Trade name is M&T Liquor and Food Mart, 2002-04 East Oliver Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a request to reopen after 90 days. Board Commission, this information was before the previous board in February of, let me make sure I get it back to my notes, on February 5th, 2015. It's been in our pending file since January of it was held on January 5th, 2015. It's been in our pending file since January of 2014, where there was a request to open, and then there was a postponement granted. On January 9th, 2015, I received an email from Mr. Kadinsky on a request to put this matter back on the docket. At this point, no other information has been received. I believe that there is a series of issues, but Mr. Kadinsky will be able to make his presentation in regards to this case.
That's correct. For the record, Melvin J. Cadency representing the applicants in this case. What had originally happened in this case was that the two licensees had sold the place and thought they had it sold to people named Willibus. And Willibus are probably, see the commissioner smile, and that whole family were probably involved in 4 or 5 locations. And they just took these places that they were in under management agreements and just ran them into the ground. And as a result of which, I think through all the hearings, the prior boards, all the ones that were there, finally told the Willibuses to take a hike and go back to D.C. That left the applicants here who had run this place, it's just a beer and wine license, a little confectionery store, to come back in and try to save their location and reopen. What happened was that the last time the case was here, I think it was in February,
Yes, sir, February 5th.
we were here, and I think one of the commissioners was concerned about, why the neighborhood wasn't here, and I said, well, they certainly were notified. We had numerous petitions in favor of reopening the particular establishment. They served the neighborhood, they cashed checks, they helped people in the neighborhood, and like I say, it's just a beer and wine location, and I think it may be in your file or may not be in there. We filed some petitions to reopen, but I have the originals here.
You made a proffer that you have the signatures.
140 or so.
I'm just wondering, the letter was in January?
Right, so this has just been like one of those cases that has been lingering for a long time. I attached a copy of the original transcript from January of 2014 for your records. I also provided a copy of the postponement that occurred in January of 14. And then also part of this, I put the postponement that was granted in 2015 as well.
Okay, here's my question. What was the driving force for the lag in time? Was it the board? Was it us? Or not us, but the board? Or was it council? Or was it the applicants? Do we know?
I would say that the last email that I got from Mr. Kadinsky on this was probably in the last 2 months or so in regards to, hey, what's happened to this since February? So there was no correspondence in between February and the last 2 months. So
And we were here in February.
yeah, they were here in February. So the lag of the last 6 months, I would say, I guess, could be equally assigned. But beyond that, I would say that the issue prior to that, I can't report why it lagged in 2014, prior to my arrival. But when it was brought to my attention, I put it back on the docket in February.
It's just one of those that slipped through the cracks.
I would say there's an issue, and I say that here you have operations issues from the standpoint that it hasn't operated for quite a while.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners?
And I can submit
I
these.
would have one if I had the community folks here,
And
but.
That was the last time, if you remember, and I said, they seem like nice enough people as far as I'm
Always
concerned.
had concerns about that location.
Yeah.
Does this apply to the 188?
yeah, I mean, in some ways, we have not had operation at this since 2013 at this location.
But they had applied.
They've applied,
Yeah,
and
right.
they have applied, but yeah, they have applied
In the
for
time period?
renewals.
Right.
And then a lot of people have been wanting them because it's a poor, lower income there, and they would cash checks for people and they'd write letters for them and try to help them. You remember Mr. Lee, I think he owned it for a long time.
I don't remember him now.
You remember Mr. Lee?
No, I don't.
Don't look at me.
You do also have a letter from Carl Stokes, I guess, in the file, who's in strong opposition, but I believe this is in regards to the Willibuses again.
Willibuses, yeah, that
issue.
was I used to call them the Flying Willibuses. Because they would come from, and I know the commissioner knows, they must have mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, brothers, sisters, Wilbus, and every one of them went.
Yeah.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Member of the community back there saying thank you.
Yeah, you probably will. We all will.
But the community did show up. The case is filed.
And I hear you, if you don't have the evidence, you don't have people, what are you gonna do?
Okay, we're in our violations docket. The first violation is in regards to Shelley Gordon and Dolores Richter. This is the Silverland Circus Bar at 427 East Baltimore Street. This is a Class BD7 adult entertainment license and a liquor license. I'm going to change the order just so that, because we have a testimony of the case of the charges. Mel, no, same charges, you can stay up. I'm just changing the order of the charges. The first charge is in regards to illegal conduct that occurred on March 10th, 2015, and January 8th, 2015. There's a search and seizure warrant, and there was a probable cause, and we have where Mr. Campbell, we have these are drug charges that occurred on January 8th, 2015. The second violation is in regards to adult entertainment rule number 9 in code compliance. These are both going from March 10th, 2015 and January 8th, 2015. This is where undercover vice detectives presented the search and seizure for illegal narcotics at that location. The last item that we will go through is item as a violation of Rule 417, sexual practices and obscenities, and this is in regards to an alleged sexual offer from a dancer at the bar. So there are 3 charges. The first one will be the violation of 418, the second one is the Rule 9, and then the third one will be the 417. I believe I have the detectives here. Is it Detective Velty?
Yes.
That is ready to testify in regards to this case.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Kadensky?
Well, we would ask for a full hearing on, first of all, like they make a motion that I think on some of the charges, I'm not sure that they're clear because I see where they have a violation of Rule 4.18, March 10th, 2015, and it says / December 11th, 2014.
What is that?
I mean, I'm sorry.
/ January 8th, 2015.
January 8th. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
So that, I believe that the search and seizure warrant was executed on the 8th of March, and that's when they went there, the January.
I think it's the other way around.
So I guess we'll let them then
Okay.
testify.
Have everybody raise their right hands, get them all 4 sworn.
Oh, yeah,
sworn
wait,
in.
get up.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. For the record, if you made a motion, it's denied until I hear what they have to say.
Just wanna-
I got it.
Okay.
I understand. I will revisit it after we have all the evidence. First one up. Yes, sir.
Detective Sergeant Robert Velty. I run an undercover squad, Baltimore City Police Department. January 8th. January 8th, 2015, at approximately 7:30 p.m. Undercover detective number 49 was in the area of 400 block of Baltimore Street with the intent of making a narcotics purchase. While inside of
I
club,
would object if he's not here, I cannot cross-examine him. Is he here?
he's not, he's undercover.
I got that, but I mean, you're gonna be telling me what he told you and what he said.
I'm his supervisor, and it's audio video recorded as well.
Hold on, Mr. Kaninsky. Just, Detective, tell us what you saw. If you know that the officer went into the establishment and/or came out of the establishment with anything that he didn't go in with.
Correct.
Okay. Testify to that.
Okay, I can testify.
Not what he told you. That's what Mr. Kaninsky's objecting to. It's just a pure hearsay objection.
Even if I saw it on the videotape?
Not if, well, if you saw it, this is an administrative hearing, so we don't go by the strict rules of evidence. If you saw it on, what videotape, from the bar?
No, sir. Undercover detectives, when they make a buy, their audio and video recorded.
Which we don't have.
What they have, what you should see. That's what we heard last time, right?
That is an issue that we had that information last time, and that's the reason why it was held. And
So-
that wasn't, so that we are strictly going off of their testimony.
Okay, let me jump ahead a little bit.
Mhm.
The purpose of your testimony is to, and just relax on your objections, okay? The purpose of your testimony is to testify as to what happened with which officer,
Undercover officer number 49.
okay? Which, presumably, what happened with undercover officer 49?
Was when he went into the establishment with the intent of purchasing narcotics.
And then he exited? Or he
There's
purchased?
a little bit more to it than that. So
Okay, and then he made the purchase
a purchase was made, yes,
by 49?
with the assistance of the doorman, Andre Blackwell,
Now, he purchased it from the doorman,
who went.
right, but we don't have 49 here
Correct.
because he's a confidential informant.
No, sir. He's an undercover police officer.
Okay, he's an undercover police officer, but we don't have him here,
That's correct.
and we don't have the tapes. I'm just asking, I'm not,
No, we don't have the tape, sir.
okay. And this,
You have the DVD here.
DVD.
DVD.
You can play it.
well, we got DVD. And this gentleman,
Sir, I can testify the fact that I retrieved illegal narcotics from UC 49, and which time I submitted them, and they were analyzed. I can testify to that.
Mr. Chairman, here's my problem on this. This investigation was going on, and it had a sealing order, and they sealed it, and then we were able to get a copy of the sealing order. And there's that tape that he has. I viewed the tape, and you have the undercover officer, he was mic'd, and he had a video camera, correct?
Correct.
Now, most of all the thing you'll see on there had nothing to do with this establishment. He was in the Club Lust across the street. And there was the problem on the thing, is that he was undercover talking to various individuals. If you're telling me on that tape it shows that your man went into the circus,
Did you get a copy of the police report and read it?
I'm just asking you a question. Does it say that?
Yeah, but if you read the police report, you would know, but you're not letting me testify to it, so you're going to ask me to testify something you objected to.
question.
Well, I mean, it's hearsay, isn't it? I mean, don't we accept hearsay? So why can't he testify? It's hearsay. He can just put the weight on that then.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, continue.
So undercover officer number 49 was in fact started in Lust. He met with an individual whose identity is still unknown to us. That individual said that if he was looking to purchase cocaine, that the owner of Club Circus sold grams of cocaine. He agreed to take him over there. The undercover 49 and the unknown male went over to Club Circus, had a brief conversation with the doorman, who would be later identified as Andre Blackwell. After that, the unknown male said he would have to be the one to purchase the narcotics because he only dealt with people he knew. So undercover 49 said, well, I'm going to have to go in the club with you, basically to make sure my money doesn't walk away. So they go down into the club. While at the bar,
That's what I'm objecting to, because you weren't there when that happened.
I was right around the corner. I'm a cover team.
Okay.
You know.
That's my objection.
Okay, noted.
When they went down into the bar and the two were seated at the bar, there was a white female behind the bar who they believe knew that they were there to purchase narcotics and asked undercover 40.
Because what they believed, I mean, now you're really making assumptions here.
It's going to go to the weight of the evidence.
You know why I got it.
I understand, and just for the record, Madam Secretary, make sure that all the exhibits are part of the record. I can see where we're going. Go
Yes,
ahead,
sir.
Testify.
Okay. So they, undercover 49 and the unknown male, were asked to leave the establishment. They weren't wanted there. At that point, undercover 49 and the unknown male left back up to the establishment and spoke again with the doorman, Andre Blackwell. He agreed to take the money and go down and get the narcotics from who he described as the owner. Undercover 49 gave the money to the unknown individual. The unknown individual gave it to Andre Blackwell. Andre Blackwell went back down into Club Circus, came back up with 3 Ziploc bags of suspected cocaine, and handed them directly to undercover officer number 49. Those are the drugs which Detective Shockley submitted, and they were chemically analyzed.
Okay, is he next? Well,
Can I ask
do
him
you
a
have any
question?
questions for
Yeah.
him? Yeah.
So as far as where you were and your number 49 didn't purchase anything in the circus?
He purchased it from the doorman who went to the circus, yes.
Yeah, but you didn't, nor did 49. Did not purchase in the circus.
No,
That you were then in Lust, Club Lust.
I'd have to look at a different case folder for that one. I know we started in Club Lust.
Yeah, and then, but you said that you were over Lust, and he told him, they talked to Blackwell, and Blackwell wasn't in circus when you were talking, because you said he went back to the circus.
No, back into circus. He's a doorman. He stays out front. So they walk over together, okay?
And that's the unknown.
And undercover 49. They speak, they go in, they're rejected, they come back out. Then undercover 49 and the unknown have Blackwell agree to go back into the establishment because the owner obviously knows him because he works there. They feel comfortable with him. They give Blackwell the money. He goes back into Club Circus, comes back out.
Where was 49, where was the other guy?
They were standing at the door waiting on him to come back up.
Okay, so he went in, and he came back out.
That's correct.
Does anybody know that he didn't have it on him when you were talking to him earlier?
I can't testify to that. I have no
Okay.
idea.
Who was the owner?
I have no, if we couldn't go in there to buy drugs, we could.
Investigation, who was the owner? You said the owner.
I'm only going on what the unknown male described. That's why I said the unknown male described him as the owner. I don't know who the owner
That's
is.
the reason why, you don't have the unknown male, you don't have 49. It's very tough for me to cross-examine them because we don't know who they're talking about. Initially, they were told to get out.
That's correct.
You weren't there when that happened.
That's correct as well.
I think Mr. Jones had a question.
Who's Andre Blackwell? You said Blackwell, I'm reading the report, I see Campbell, so are they one of the same? Is it somebody?
Well, that might have been somebody arrested on this different on a search warrant. A search warrant occurred a different day. Andre Blackwell was the doorman for the
Doorman? Okay. All right, thank you.
And I have,
There is no camp.
Andre Blackwell subsequently pled guilty to distribution.
That's been resolved. He pled guilty to distribution.
Correct.
At the club?
For that charge, for that day, he pled guilty, yes.
For this offense.
That's correct.
Just the distribution, and that wasn't necessarily at the club. He pled guilty to distribution.
He pled guilty that the facts of this case were correct.
That's on the record, he said that?
I don't, he
No.
pled guilty, so he's obviously agreeing with what we
But
said.
you're adding something to it. If we get the record of the plea.
I don't know, I wasn't there.
no,
What
you
I'm
don't.
saying is, he pled guilty, so he's obviously agreeing with the facts.
Well, obviously, maybe not.
Well, he pled guilty to the,
Distribution.
Got it.
Correct.
okay. Got it. Any other questions for this witness?
Not this time.
Okay. The next gentleman.
Detective James Shockley. Basically, once Mr. Blackwell handed the undercover officer, 49, the suspected drugs, at which time I took possession of those drugs. I submitted the drugs and packaged them to evidence control, where they were then submitted to the lab for analysis, at which time they came back Schedule 2 for cocaine.
And as a result of the analysis, I would suspect that analysis was used in the criminal case with Mr. Blackwell?
Correct.
Okay, so the paperwork that I have says Mr. Campbell. It should be Blackwell.
Well, I'm going to object it.
Where did Andre Campbell come from? Do we know?
No, I've never heard that before. All I know is Andre. What are you reading from this as the?
I'm reading.
There's a typo in the charges, sir, that there's in regards to the Andre Blackwell is the employee. Campbell is was misrepresented in our charges
We don't
documents.
even know either one are employees.
Well,
Well, I get it, Mr. Kudensky,
I'm
but I'm
saying-
just trying to clear up who
Record.
we're
What I'm-
talking about.
What I'm saying to you, Mr. Chairman, is that this case has been in here at least 2 or 3 times.
yes.
It's always been Andre Campbell, Andre Campbell. There is no Andre Campbell as an employee.
You wasn't testified the other time.
But it's Blackwell?
I don't know who
It is Blackwell. The information that's attached has Mr. Blackwell's name on it. There was a typo in regards to,
Do you
That-
have the police report?
I do have,
in the police report, it's referred to as Blackwell.
We have to speak
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry.
but when we got the charging documents, they referred to Andre Campbell as being,
I
who was working
understand.
as a bouncer.
I
That's the
understand.
charging
So
documents, that's the.
they're
You don't do
reporting
that.
to
We do it.
Blackwell.
We didn't.
It's not my obligation to go ahead. If, if they say, that, it was Trotter, but it really was Neil.
Right.
It's not significant?
Not down there. Might be Trotter, but it wouldn't be Neil.
Okay, I was just using as an example.
Okay.
But so to make that correction, every time you see the word Campbell, it is
Should be-
Blackwell.
I'm gonna object to the make of the correction.
I understand, overruled.
Is Mr. Blackwell an employee?
We'll get
Well,
to
he's
that.
gonna get to that.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for these officers?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
What was the quantity of cocaine?
It was, on the day of the buy, it was 3 Ziploc bags.
You're not telling them anything. What are you talking about?
Three little dime bags.
3 dime bags?
Yes.
Okay.
Less than an OZ, right?
What's that, sir?
It wasn't an OZ.
Oh, no, it's
No.
small, yeah.
Small,
Yeah.
small
Yes.
quantity.
About probably a little less than a gram.
It's going so fast, I don't even know who's talking, so slow down, please. Thank you.
They didn't ask a question about that. But since these drugs, once we actually, from these drugs, that gave us enough probable cause to establish a search warrant for the club from Mr. Blackwell, which was executed on the 10th of March.
Okay.
Then let me ask you that question. On the 10th of March, Mr. Campbell, maybe known as Blackwell, maybe whatever else, what illegal activity do you do on March the 10th?
He didn't do any illegal activity on March the 10th. That's when we actually executed the search warrant. That's what you asked me, didn't you, sir?
No, that's what I'll make sure. There's no illegal activity on March 10th. Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Direct.
Is that you finish your case?
I think that's all
As
we
far
have.
as
We have that's our for case, that's for, the illegal conduct 1 and 2. I believe I have the third one, which is the obscenity and sexual practices. Detective Gatto will come.
First of all.
Do you want the detective to come up to do the third charge? Or do you want to object to those
Give
two?
them all at one time. It'd be easier. Don't have to-
That's
Okay.
fine. I don't
Detective
think
Gatto?
He was sworn in yet.
He was.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Would you like me to start?
Yes, sir.
On March 10th, at,
The name first, please.
well, I'm Detective Abraham Gatto. I'm undercover in the Vice Unit. On the 10th of March at 7:20 p.m., I entered this establishment at 427 East Baltimore Street. I'm familiar with this establishment. I've been in it a couple times before. I went into the bar area, sat down. A bartender approached me. Her name is Terry. I want to get her name right. It's I believe it's Brosaker, 71367. She has an address in Silver Spring, Maryland. I purchased a drink from her. She gave me the drink. I was then approached by another white female who was later identified as Michelle Swartz, 82379, and she gives a Baltimore, Maryland address. Ms. Swartz sat down with me. I ordered her a drink. We began speaking. During the course of the conversation, she asked me what type of fun was I looking to have on that night. I proceeded to tell her that I wanted to have sex, both vaginal and anal. She agreed to that. She then called the bartender over, the same bartender that had served me the drink, Miss Terry Brosaker. She told her that this gentleman wants to go downstairs into a private room for sex. At that time, the bartender advised me that I had to pay $170 to rent the room with Miss Swartz. And I agreed to that price. Miss Swartz then said she wanted a $50 tip. Miss Swartz proceeded to tell me that there were condoms behind the bar and that I had to wear a condom, which I said I'm fine with. I continued to drink my beer, and she drank hers. Miss Brosaker, who was the bartender, told me that I needed to give her the $170 prior to 8 p.m. The reason being is she was getting off of her shift and wanted that money, wanted her half of the deal. I said, okay, whatever. And I kind of just put it off because I knew that there was a search warrant coming right behind me. At exactly, I'd say 7:55, between 7:55 p.m. to 8 p.m., Ms. Broseger came back to me and said, look, I need you to give me that money. I'm about ready to leave. I said, okay. I exited. I told her I'm going to go get the rest of the money from my car, the $170. I exited the bar. At which time I exited the bar, this team came in and executed their search warrant. I then re-entered the bar because I was expecting to go through with my services because I'm an undercover, and the arrest team grabbed a hold of me, searched me, set me down, ran me, and everything like that. And that was the end of the case.
Questions, Mr. Kudensky?
First of all, you had no intention of giving them $170, did you?
Is that necessary?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, either if you were untruthful with them, you could be there's veracity. You had no intention of giving them $170, did you?
The case was made when they agreed to the money.
You tell me something else. Just answer the question. Did you have
yes
any
or
intention
no?
of giving them $170?
No.
Okay. Number two, she agreed to do vaginal and anal sex. Did you agree to do it?
I asked for it.
No. So you said you would
So
do
if I'm
it.
asking for it, I'm saying I want it.
Yeah, so you would do it.
Well,
I'm just asking you.
are you asking me if I've ever done this before? I mean, I'm trying to understand because see, here's the thing. If you look back at my cases, and I know this board's new to me, but if I don't just...
Hold up. That's not a requirement. I mean, if it's going to go to the credibility, Mr. Kudensky, let's stay with the credibility issue. Let's not banter back and forth with the police officer.
Did you ever go downstairs?
No, I didn't. I didn't have to go downstairs yet.
You didn't go. Number two, when you came back, did you arrest Miss Michelle Schwartz?
No, I did not. I obtained a criminal summons for her, which I had mailed to her address.
When did you get that?
Let's see the date here. Well, the Judge Commissioner Clerk has here.
Would it be 423?
I have 423 on here, on this one. No, again, they only give me a copy. I don't get the exact signed copy. So
If I told you I have a copy of the court information report, would that be pretty close?
You want to show it to us?
yes, I have that too.
You have it also.
Mhm. This would be Exhibit 4.
All right, so that was, you filed an incident report on 4/23/15. There was original trial date of 6/22/15. One of the cases with null process, is that correct?
No. See, there's a program, and that's, they are given a diversion program where they are allowed to complete this program, and then their charges will be null processed. But if they don't complete the program, they're given another court date. I just received a summons for September 28th, which I have to go back to court for Miss Michelle Schwartz, which it'll reflect on this paperwork as well.
So let me submit this indicating the case was null processed. So are you telling me the case was recharged?
Well, I am
after it
now,
was null
no,
processed?
I'm now going to, because like I explained, he doesn't understand, but there's a program. When these prostitutes go through this, they believe that they have drug problems. They put them through a program. If they complete the program, they can obtain a null pros. There has to be some type of verdict at the time. Judge Lesser explained it to her, told me as well, if you never see this case again, it's because she completed the program. I'll show you here in Exhibit 4, I have a court date for 9/28 with Miss Michelle Schwartz. And it is right there.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Reference to that date, is it because she violated and they didn't open the case? I mean,
Sir, I don't know. What they have to go to North Avenue and check in with the people there at 1400 East North Avenue. And I believe, I can only speculate, she did not fit the requirements for maybe one of her scheduled dates. I know she had she had issues with getting transportation to the location. That's all I know. That
In reference to what you're asking him, isn't it true that when you go in a diversionary program, you're in early disposition court, which is really part 7, downstairs in district court on North Avenue?
well, when this court went to trial initially, I was at Patapsco, I believe, in room 2.
Once they null pros the case, it's null pros.
Well,
You're saying they unnull pros it.
I received a summons for a court date with Ms. Michelle Swartz, 9/28, and it also reflects there on the case search.
Any questions from the commissioners? No.
I have a copy, it's actually in your file.
Have it?
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Here's yours.
I'm going to ask that the cases be dismissed because both the rules that are being charged here. Extra copies so you can follow along with me. Copies for each one of Rule 416, I'm sorry.
416.
417,
Yeah, they're not, your clients aren't charged with 416, Mr. Kudensky.
417.
417. And 418.
Mhm.
Each one of those presupposes knowledge and notice by the licensee. Because they talk about no licensee shall commit or allow, so there's no evidence of them committing on illegal conduct or allow. For you to allow, you have to know that it is taking place, much the same on the under the other sexual practices. No licensee shall permit or suffer his, this is probably invalid now because we do have women in home places. And there's no testimony here that the licensee allowed or permitted any of this conduct, if it happened.
I'd like to add that the night manager, Ms. Brosiker,
He didn't ask you a question. So, we don't intend to listen. If you had something to say, you should have said it when you were doing your direct. Explain to me, Mr. Kudensky, if you would, please, why 417 is not applicable.
Because it says no licensee shall permit, when there's no indication the licensee did anything here. Or suffer, which is probably archaic language, no indication that the licensee suffered his premises to be used for a purpose of any sexual act. There was no sexual act here.
Where does it say knowledge or scienter?
Well,
I don't see that.
If you permit it, you have to be able to say that you knew and you allowed it to go forward. And in this
Permit
case,
or suffer.
right. There's no indication here that the licensee permitted or suffered it and to be used for any sexual activity. There was no sexual activity. The man bolted. He decided he wanted to do something and he got out of there. And regarding the illegal conduct, it's the same verbiage they use. No licensee shall commit, which didn't happen in this case, or allow the commission on his premises, which is a contrary to any federal or state law. What is the law that was broken here? One is null pros. Two, there's no disposition in the other case, even if it's a valid case.
So your motion is to dismiss all 3 counts?
Right, because they all have the same verbiage. No licensee shall, the narcotics drug shall allow his premises to be used for the purpose of possession, transfer. There's no testimony that the licensee did that.
Is the licensee responsible for his or her venue?
Not if they don't know anything's going on. It's much the same. I'm glad you asked that question because I've been arguing this for years. I can guarantee you, you're going to go to the Bengals game this week, I guarantee they'll be smoking pot out there like crazy in different sections. Not a lot, but it doesn't mean that Mr. Bishotti or ARA, the vendors are responsible. If they know it, they know that these three guys are there smoking pot and they're troublemakers, well then shame on you. But if they don't know, they can't be held responsible.
And you've been making that statement for years.
I know, and I can't get even. I've been out there seeing people smoking pot.
Well, this is not a pot smoker case.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Just
So,
leave
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grant the request on the 4.19 and the Rule 9, but I'm gonna hold in the 4.17 because I think that they had an employee that solicited the police officer.
Wait a minute, we gotta put our case in there.
Okay, so far. And you want me to answer the motion, don't you? Okay. So I'm gonna hold that one in. So go ahead and put it on.
Okay. All right,
You can sit down, you don't need to
state
stand.
your name and address for the record,
you.
please.
Thank you.
Dolores Riker, 3523 East Fayette Street, Baltimore, Maryland.
And you've been a licensee there for how long?
Maybe 18 years.
Okay, so you know, you're familiar with the block and what's going on. Do you allow or permit or let any of your employees solicit for sex?
Absolutely not.
What would happen if you found out that that was what happened?
They're fired immediately.
Okay, now, in this case here, on the date that they came in with the search and seizure warrant in March, no police officer came up to you?
We're not
did
talking about search and seizure warrant
No, no,
anymore.
But then, March 10th is the date of the alleged sexual
When he-
activity.
Right.
Okay, on that date, did any of the police officers, either the people with, any of the officers come up to you and say, this girl solicited me for sex?
Unfortunately for me, I was off that night, but I have fired everybody. I was off that night. It was a Tuesday night. And unfortunately for me, nobody approached me. Everybody involved had been fired.
And then when did you find out that these charges were pending against Miss Michelle Schwartz?
A day or two after when we got the
Okay.
papers, whatever.
So wasn't that, nobody came that night and told anybody?
No, sir.
I have no further questions, this witness.
I have a question. Why did you fire the workers?
Because anyone who doesn't apply and is a good person, they're gone. And that's wrong. That's a wrongdoing. They're gone.
So you're saying that they did what they're being charged?
No, I'm not saying, I'm saying if they do something wrong and I don't know about it, I didn't give permission for that, I'm gonna fire you. If you do something and you don't ask me, I'm gonna fire you, and then I have to go through this.
But
Right or wrong?
basically, you're saying that they did the job.
I don't think they did.
Then you fired
I
them.
wasn't there. I got these papers that said so. That's all I have to do, and then I gotta fire you. The papers, I got papers, and I shouldn't have got them. Is that correct?
Okay, no,
Well, he's not gonna answer any of your questions.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Apologize.
All right.
You want to step up? State your name and address.
Jules Gordon, 2713 Moores Valley Drive, Baltimore, Maryland, 21209.
And you've been, I'm sorry, you have a question?
Jules Gordon, Gordon.
And you along with your wife been
My
in
wife,
this place for how long?
we've had the place for about 18 years.
And along with that, you heard the testimony regarding what would happen if somebody would have done an illegal act or solicited prostitution, and you knew about it, that you wouldn't fire them. Is that correct?
I tell everyone that I hire, because I am the owner of the Circus Bar, that, you know, your job is to dance, make drinks, and that's it. Any type of drug activity, prostitution, don't even talk about it, you're gone. My brother and I bought the building. In the past year, I've met with 2 city council members, different police majors, health department officials to help the block. I've put lights in the alley. I've put lights on Baltimore Street to make it safer. I've met with the health department for the girls. Every Thursday, they come around and they go to the different bars and they give you hundreds of condoms to give to the girls and the employees. and even the customers. So when they talk about condoms, they give everybody bags of condoms, everything a girl that has a problem needs, except for new exchange for syringes, everything. Because we try to educate. I've personally sponsored different dancers on the Man Alive program, and I've tried to help things as far.
Didn't you hire an ex-police officer to work with you?
Yes, I did. I hired a retired police sergeant. This has been about 6 months since the case started, and since then, I got rid of every person that allegedly did anything wrong in my bar. When I got a phone call from the sergeant who testified, I was uptown with my wife. They wanted me to come downtown to open up the safe because they wanted to look around. And I said, please don't bust into my safe. I'll be right down. I came down. They were looking for guns. They were looking for drugs. I complied with everything they said. They found nothing. The sergeant said to me, Jules, we know you're not involved in this. That's why it's upsetting when you heard testimony that the owner of the circus was selling drugs. I'm the owner of the circus. I wasn't even there. And, you know, we talked about, as far as that case, they said the doorman. We had this doorman that was working 2 days a week, Blackwell. I didn't even know who they were talking about. He did a good job. All he did was open and close the door, run little errands. The next day, when he was on the phone talking to one of the dancers, I told him, I said, Andre, I'm very disappointed in you for what you did. You know you can't come in the bar anymore. You know, we can't use you. And he hasn't been in the bar since. I just don't have that type of tolerance for that. But in talking to the sergeant, if you asked him, he'll tell you that everything I'm saying is true and that I complied and, you know, trying to make everything better.
Are you on the license?
No, my wife is on the license. The reason I'm not on the license, I had a bar across the street, the Plaza Saloon, that was burnt down when the Peep Show caught on fire underneath of it at 404. Okay. So that's why I'm not.
You're on two licenses?
No.
He's not.
That's why I
That's why he's
can't
not
be
on
on it. I am on the alcohol awareness license, and I do everything. It's circus bar.
So you own the property?
Yes,
And the business?
yes.
But you're not on license.
And we've, fixed up the outside to make it better because it was run down. We fixed the inside. We got rid of anybody that would be a troublemaker or wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing.
If, as I recall, Ms. Riker's testimony was that she fired all the people. You're the owner, right?
I'm the owner.
Okay, and
She does what I tell her.
so did you tell her to fire all the people?
I told her. I said, we can't use anybody that, even a couple of the girls that might have had paraphernalia in their pocketbooks. I told her, just get rid of them. I don't want them in the bar. We're not going to use them.
You also testified that they come in and they give you free condoms.
Yeah, the health department from the city.
You don't say, I'm just asking, you don't say to them, we don't need them because they don't do anything in this bar. We're okay.
Oh,
Thank you."
that's not their issue. Their issue is just for health, for practice safe sex,
You-
for the
you-
customers, for.
You take them from them.
I mean, they come in every Thursday night, bags of them. I throw them away.
But in the same instance, they give needles away too, don't they?
Yeah, they give needles, they give the little syringe things that they use to, you know,
Your testimony was, I think I just heard Mr. Trotter repeat it, was, so, something about having sex with the customers.
and I didn't say sex.
Sex with the customer.
No, I didn't say safe sex with the customers. I said that everybody, they bring in the condoms to practice safe sex.
And then you throw them out. And then they
I
bring you
throw
new
them
back.
away. I have hundreds behind the bar of bags of nothing but condoms.
All right, okay.
I mean, it's what the city gives all the bars downtown.
All right, Mr. Jones, I don't know if you had a question.
No, sir, not now. I'm good.
Mr. Kudensky, I think your client, Ms. Richter wanted to say something. I don't.
You want to talk about the condoms, don't you?
We throw everything away, so they give them, I'm not there. If I'm not there and they hand them to somebody, when I get there, I throw all that away. And that's, you know, that's what I do.
Anything else?
No, and then let me finish up here with regard to
Go ahead.
the sexual activity. First of all, one of the charges is null pros. I don't know how you can null pros a case and reopen it. It's something that, if it's some new law to pass, once it's null pros, it's null pros. You can recharge, that's something different. You cannot recharge for the same charge. In that case, there, if you look at that, it's the same case. It was filed the same day. There's been no disposition in that case with Earl Michelle Schwartz. So we can't determine whether or not there was any illegal activity, because it hasn't been proven as such. You know, it certainly seems that this was a little bizarre, you know, what happened there, and then don't arrest the girl the same night, and then don't tell anybody that it happened. Certainly if you've got 10 employees in your business, whatever you're doing, and you're saying, you know, that girl's putting stuff in her pockets over there, and nobody tells you about it, then you say, well, you should be noticed she was putting stuff in your pockets. I don't know, unless you tell me, or unless I can do it. So in this case here, I think they've given you oh, for God's sake, we're an adult entertainment. I mean, it's not like, you know, you're going into Disney World here. But, you know, they don't allow. Things happen? Yes. Do drugs happen in the city? I mean, we have 11 shootings since September. You know, everything happens, but you don't lay it at the foot of the licensee. He's hired off-duty police officers. He's done everything. As soon as they find out about somebody, they move them out. And that's been a common practice down there. Are there some bad eggs? Absolutely. But I don't see that, you know, that it's the fault of the licensee allowing or permitting to do it.
Can I say something?
Mr. Trotter?
I have no questions.
Mr. Jones? I think in response, and I'm not sure, in response to your query as to why the lady wasn't arrested that night, the gentleman, if he's still here, I think he testified he didn't want to blow his cover. I believe that was his testimony. So to me, that's logical.
Just in response, if I just.
Go ahead.
But wouldn't you think there'd be some time, some other officer would come in and say to Jules or Dolores, hey, you know, Michelle, we're gonna file charges on her. They don't know until they file the charges.
It was weeks
Weeks
before.
later. And you know, and they know, they could come in and go ahead and do it. I don't care if he's undercover or not. Somebody could come in and tell him. Otherwise, suppose she would have done it on every other night after that. And he would say, why didn't somebody tell me she's up there, you know, doing vaginal and anal sex and all that kind of stuff, and I don't even know about it.
Could, would, should, but we're not here for that. We're here for this. We're here for his testimony. 4.18 was dismissed. Rule 9 was dismissed. 4.17, I suggest a $1,000 fine and a 3-day suspension starting tomorrow.
I second that.
I third it.
That's it.
So that would be
Starts
11/25, starting tomorrow?
Starts tomorrow. They'll be closed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They'll be closed for the weekend, and they'll pay $1,000 plus the administrative fee.
How long do you need to pay?
Tomorrow's fine. I'll pay tomorrow.
Okay. I'll give you 1 week, 7 days.
All right, thank you.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right in the back.
Don't tell me you have another one, Mr. Kaninsky.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Kaminsky,
Right.
I had a request for you to speak into the microphone so that the rest of the city and the state and the world can hear
They want to hear.
Are they here?
No, they want to hear. Yes, they are here. He just needs a minute for the recording.
What's next?
Shay Joey,
Shay Joey's.
and it's Mr. Kadinsky again.
It's what?
Mr. Kadinsky, you're up again, aren't you? Shay Joey?
Isn't that
Shay Joey, how'd you know?
Yes, okay. Are you ready? Ernest Hatmaker, Bradley Simmons. This is Shay Joey LLC. Trade name is Shay Joey at 415 East Baltimore Street. The first charge is in regards to 4.17 sexual practices and obscenity. This occurred on March 10th, 2015. I believe we have the device officers here in regards to a sexual act. The second item that we're going to be charging is a violation of Rule 9 in regards to the sexual act. We are suggesting that the 418 on this one be dismissed as staff because we do not have the drug analysis in regards to that in regards to that issue. So the two charges that we'd like to move forward with are 4.17, the sexual practices, and Rule 9 in regards to the adult entertainment charge regards to sexual activity.
Okay, so 4.18 is dismissed before we start, Mr. Kadinsky. All right. Okay, all those that intend to testify, please raise your right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I'm commanding officer for title at top. Oh, sorry. First we have here is Detective Greenhill. You're going to start, Detective Greenhill.
On
Please give your name for the record. He's got to record it. I'm sorry.
Detective L.C. Greenhill, SES Vice.
Thank you.
On 10 March of 2015 at 8 o'clock p.m., raid teams consisting of your writer, Detective Greenhill, along with members of SES Vice Enforcement as well as SES Narcotics Enforcement, simultaneously executed a narcotic search and seizure warrant on one of four adult entertainment nightclubs along the 400 block of East Baltimore Street, one of which was Shay Joey's, located at 415 East Baltimore Street. Prior to this, at 19:20 hours, which would have been 7:20 p.m., Detective Fletcher Jackson, who's to my left, whom was working in a plainclothes undercover capacity, entered the location of 415 East Baltimore Street, which is an adult entertainment establishment known as Shay Joey's. While inside of Shay Joey's, Detective Jackson sat down at the bar and ordered a drink from bartender on duty at that particular time. At that time, Detective Jackson
Can I
was...
just, Jackson, were you there when that happened?
No.
Oh, no, object.
Now, if you want, I can turn it over to Detective Jackson, who can take over from there.
Action Jackson, what's that?
All right.
Just keep going.
All right.
It-
Detective Jackson said...
Observe a rule for the record. And for the record, Madam Secretary, make sure all the documents are put into the file in case there's an appeal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
At that time, Detective Jackson sat at the bar, ordered a drink from the bartender that was on duty at a particular time. At that time, Detective Jackson was approached by a female dancer who was later identified as Jasmine Valera with a stage name of Disney. Disney was wearing a black short sleeve top and a black thong. Disney sat down next to Detective Jackson and engaged Detective Jackson in conversation. Disney stated, "Hey, handsome, how are you?" Detective Jackson replied, "Better now. You have some sexy lips." Detective Disney then said, "You're making me blush." Detective Jackson then replied, "Yeah, right. I'm sure you hear that all the time." Disney stated, "No, most guys are not."
I think it'd be a lot better if we're hearing from Action
Is
Jackson.
that Mr. Jackson there?
That's Detective Jackson.
Okay, so let's just get all that testimony from Mr. Jackson. Do you have anything else?
No, I have nothing else.
Okay, then let's just switch around, because I don't assume you have any questions for this officer, do you? Do you?
No.
No, I didn't think so. All right, Detective Jackson.
Name's Detective Fletcher Jackson, Baltimore City Police Department, SES Vice Section. Again, I entered the location in a plainclothes capacity, posing as a customer. I went in, I sat down at the bar. I was approached by a female, later identified as Jasmine Valeria, had a stage name correction of Disney. She was wearing black short sleeve top with black thongs on. At that time, like I said, Disney came and sat next to me. She stated, "Hey, handsome, how are you?" I replied, "Better now. You have sexy lips." Again, Disney stated, "You're making me blush." I then replied, "Yeah, right. I'm sure you hear that all the time." Disney then stated, "No, most guys are not looking at my face. They're looking at other places." this detective, I then stated, okay, well, they're gorgeous and kissable. Disney then replied that they can do other things too. Then stated to Disney, really, well, what if I wanted to find out? Waiting for my boy to come because it's his birthday. She then stated that we can all have a party or we can get started without him. I then replied, well, he knows where I am, so we can get started without him. She then advised me that we can get a private room. I then stated to her, how does that work? Disney then replied that we can get a room for half an hour for $120 or an hour for $160. I then stated, what about you? She replied, I just get $100. I then stated to her, well, what can we do? She said, we can do whatever you want. I then replied, I'm just trying to get some head, which is a street term describing the act of performing fellatio, also for some sex, but I used a different word. At that point, Ms. Disney said, okay, that's just $100. That was the end of the conversation.
Ross, Mr. Cadenza?
All right, well, you never went through with it, did you?
No, sir.
You never got the $100 or whatever it was? You didn't give her any money?
No,
You didn't arrest her?
not at that time.
Well, did you ever arrest her?
A criminal summons was issued at a later date. She wasn't arrested at that time. She was just positively identified.
You didn't arrest her, ever?
She wasn't physically arrested. A criminal summons was issued. You and I have had this conversation before. A criminal summons is still considered an arrest. It's just not physically going to central booking.
This makes nice airtime, but doesn't answer the question. When is your case coming up?
Actually, sir, I just received notification of this case today, so my actual case folder I don't have. I just have a copy of the report. So to answer your questions, I don't know.
If I told you we did a criminal case search and no charges were ever filed in this case, you tell me that's not correct?
Correct.
So you would be able to supply the summons information under that name?
I would be able to get, I don't have it at this second, but I would be able to give you a copy of my criminal summons. But
And-
you're correct. I checked judicial case search myself, and I couldn't find anything either.
Okay, and then at least we agree on one thing. And then when she said we can get a room, she didn't say you get a room at Shea Joey. She just said you can get a room.
She stated that you can get a private room.
That's what she said. But she didn't say at Shea Joey.
If you want to be exactly right, no, she didn't. But
Okay.
I assumed that she was talking
Well, you
there.
can't
With,
assume.
with what she had on, I don't think she was going to
You
go
know what
outside
happens
with
when you
what she had on.
assume,
Right.
and where you are there are actually two clubs in that same building, is that correct?
I'm not sure.
You never been in there?
I went in there that particular day, but no, I don't frequent there.
You went in the first floor, or did you go in the basement?
I went in on the first floor.
Okay. Isn't the Diamond there also?
I don't know.
You haven't been back?
No, I haven't.
All right. Did you tell anybody, any of the licensees or owners of this happening?
Me, myself, no, I didn't.
All right. Did you ever go back to tell them that?
Me, myself, no, I didn't.
Okay. So let me go to this. One, she was never arrested. Two, as far as we know, there's no criminal summons in this case system. Number three, you didn't mention to anybody at the establishment that this event took place.
I mentioned to the arrest team a description of the young lady as well as the conversation who I think mentioned, well, I won't say what I think, but who mentioned something to them.
You heard him say that.
No, I didn't hear him.
Okay. And number three, when you left, you never went back that day,
That particular day, no.
but you've been back since.
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, I was just asking you. I'm not saying that you'd have to frequent the place. And then when you were in there, how many people were in the place?
Offhand, I couldn't tell you offhand because I was still in the location when the search and seizure warrant was executed. So,
So prior to them coming in, where you weren't the only person there.
no, sir, I wasn't.
All right, so would you say 5, less than 20, if you remember?
I would say approximately 10 people, maybe.
Okay. And where was she seated when you were talking to her, at the bar?
She was seated directly next to me.
Was it at the bar?
Yes.
And were both of you drinking at the time?
At the time of the conversation, no.
But you did buy a drink.
Yes, sir, I did.
You bought her a drink.
Yes, sir, I did.
I have no further question.
Okay. You're up, Mr. Kudensky. I don't think we have anything else. Do we have anything else to submit?
No, that's our only testimony, sir.
Well, once again, there's no testimony that they permitted this to happen or knew about it to go ahead and do it. He's testified that he didn't talk to anybody. She wasn't arrested that night. There's been no charges pending that anybody can find up. And he was candid, believe me. And I searched every month. I looked for to see whether or not under the name Disney or the other name that she gave, I can't find any charges that have been ever filed. It seems awful strange to me that this would be filed. This happened in March, and now we're at the end of September, going in October, and there's no Jasmine Valeri that's been charged with anything. But yet, there's the licensee is responsible for allowing what? Nothing has so far has illegal conduct been determined, nor has it happened. So I think whatever is premature. And if they never file the charge, then he should never be found guilty.
I'm just curious, Detective, did you request that the criminal summons be issued, or was that done as part of the process? I'm not.
I requested it was issued.
And when did you make the request?
It was approximately a month or so later. Again, I don't have my case photo, so I don't want to falsify the exact date.
I understand. Okay. Any questions in light of my questions, Mr. Kudensky?
When you requested, did you sign the criminal information sheet?
I'm sure I did.
Well, I mean, did you or did
If
you?
I get a
you don't
criminal,
remember, I'm not going to hold it against you.
if I get a criminal summons, I generally sign the sheet. So I'm saying I'm sure that I did.
And you went to a commissioner?
Yes, I'm sure I did. If I
And
got the criminal
where would you have gone? Down on Baltimore Street?
No, I would have went on Calvert Street.
Okay. But you agree with me, there's nothing in the case search that has any kind of case been filed?
I agree with you
Okay.
on that.
Does that mean that the case has been dismissed? Does it mean that it doesn't exist?
Honestly, sir, I'm not sure. Sometimes it could be computer error. It could have went to court and if it was sent to early disposition court number 7, us as officers are not required to go there. So I'm not exactly sure. And again, not having my actual case folder, I couldn't honestly tell you, and I don't want to give you any false information.
One last thing. Did she agree to have 2 sexual acts with you?
Yes, sir, she did.
Well, just getting back to what the commissioner said, for you to go to early disposition court, a case still has to be filed. You have to have one of these, correct?
You're correct.
So you wouldn't go down to early disposition without having a case filed. So we can't find a case being filed. No number, no
It's not
case-
pulled up in judicial case search, correct?
That's the first place you would look, other than you being a police officer having a copy of it.
Correct.
Okay.
Is this a report on the search, which is on our,
Yes, this report covers both the search and seizure and the prostitution charge.
and in this report it says that they found used condoms on the facility?
I'm not sure, sir. I wasn't a part of
This is
the.
right here.
Yeah.
I wasn't a part of the search and seizure
That's-
warrant, so
yeah.
I'm not affiant for that.
I can attest for that. 'Cause
If you're going to testify in
Well,
response to the commissioner's question,
But I have to check because it's really not pertinent and part of the case.
I have no idea where the commissioner's
No,
going.
no.
Okay, so overruled for, and then you
So I
can
want to get
renew
into
your
used
motion.
condoms. I'm going to get into DNA if that's what you want me to do.
This is an
DNA.
administrative hearing, Mr.
I don't
Kudensky.
know where it came from.
Okay, let's find out what his question is.
Detective Greenhill.
I just wanted to know that during the search warrant, they say you uncovered numerous unused condoms, but numerous used condoms.
Yes, during the once the location was secured, I was also inside the club getting vital information from the bar managers. And during that time, I'm walking throughout the club. I did see used condoms throughout the floor, as well as packaged condoms strewn all over different tables in the back of the bar.
Back of the bar.
Yeah.
Did you see any private rooms?
I didn't go into the private rooms.
That's
Now,
his
did you see
question.
any?
Did you see any?
No.
Let's get into the condoms then. You took evidence there. And sir, did you take the condoms?
No, because I didn't take evidence.
Then it's just no.
But
Did
you-
anybody take the condoms?
No, not that I know of.
Anybody know where they came from?
No,
Did anybody know who they belonged to?
no,
Anybody know if anything was in them?
no.
They just came from Area 50, 51, and
You know,
aliens
floated
dropped them.
down.
You never see that thing where all of a sudden somebody's at a birthday party and the kid comes out, look, Daddy gave me a balloon. Well, guess what it was? It was a condom. Okay? So we don't know what it is. It's we don't know what the purpose of them are. You don't know if it's consensual, whether they were using them for shooters. I don't know. But I don't have any probative value, but that's it.
That's right. Do you have any questions of your clients?
On my motion,
What
don't know what kind of
motion?
birthday
my
you
motion
made?
is to dismiss as though, because didn't show that the licensee or any of the people that were there had any knowledge or permitted or suffered this to happen, if anything happened which hasn't been adjudicated.
That's for the 417, correct? Is that for the 417 or
Yes, sir,
everything?
that's a beautiful.
For everything.
Denied.
Okay. All right, you want to,
Any previous violations?
No, there were no previous violations at this location, under this owner.
we didn't get that for you.
Yeah.
Let's give your name and address.
Ernest Hatmaker, 721 Lockengren Cove, Eaton, Ohio.
All right, and then how long you been a licensee here?
Right at 4 years.
All right, and then you haven't, of course, you asked the question, and you haven't been appointed sport before, have you?
No, sir.
All right, now regarding this alleged act of sexual practice, did you have any knowledge of this?
No, sir. And also want to add that obviously he was having a conversation with the dancer. At no time did it involve the bartender to say, yeah, we'll take $120 or whatever he said for this act. When girls leave at 8 o'clock at night, we don't know what they do. Absolutely not. One clue what they do, but never was the bar in agreeance to, and or, like in the previous case, saying, hey, yes, we'll take $120 for this act.
All right, and then regarding that, you have them sign documentation as to, what they're expected and note if they do this, they would be fired. Is that correct?
Correct. Every employee signs a legal document saying that they're a 1099 employee, that they'll abide by all the rules and regulations, and some other legal stuff, but pertaining to 1099 stuff and rules and regulations.
How many days after this incident in March did you find out that there was anything with regard to Jasmine?
Several. And as soon as we found out, we obviously terminated her employment with us.
You had a copy of one of your forms, didn't you? This is actually a picture of Jasmine, isn't it?
Yes.
This is something that all the girls would sign and you would keep?
That's Disney.
So you were not told the date of March the 10th of any,
The bar was never officially formed at all. Does this act had happened, occurred that night, that she solicited him or anything. The club had no knowledge ever. The bartender, nobody, had no knowledge of the act at all, or the alleged solicitation. Nor did the officer go up to the bartender, which she's here, never go up to her and say, hey, I'll pay you this money, and the bar agreed to this.
And
It was a private conversation between, the two girls or the guy and the girl, and the bar had no knowledge of this going on whatsoever.
and what you did find out several days later that there was possible charges, and that's when you terminated her, is that correct?
Correct.
That's your policy, isn't it?
Yes.
Any questions on this one?
Do you live in Ohio?
I do, sir.
So you weren't there that evening?
I was not.
So you wouldn't have any knowledge of anything that happened at that establishment?
Well, we do have cameras. We have video and cameras that record and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they only go about 7 days because of the amount of stuff that goes on. Obviously, traffic gets all activated by people walking in and stuff like that.
So if you are the owner, then if something happens, who is on premises that takes responsibility for the operation?
The manager.
The manager. That's this young lady right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And she was there that night.
All right. Questions?
And then there are times that you have provided some of the tapes to the police, is that correct?
Absolutely.
If they want to see something, thought an event happened or something happened down there and they want to know somebody, or provided that to the police, is that correct?
We have.
Okay.
Who's
Except
on
in this case, you didn't know until after.
Right, it was too late to go back and pull the tapes when, we didn't know about it. So, and like I said, unfortunately, the DVR doesn't record no more than about 7 days.
Are the tapes audio and video?
They are.
And audio?
Yes, sir.
You can hear conversations of people at the bar?
Not really. Depends on, depend on where they exactly sat and stuff like that.
Okay.
It just, but we would have had a sporting chance because it just, like I said, I don't know where they were sitting, depending on how close they are to the cameras.
All right. Commissioner Trotter had a question.
Who's on the license?
Myself and Bradley.
No, like city resident.
City resident? So no one that was responsible for the license was there that night?
No, sir.
Do you ever spend any time there at all?
I do, sir.
During the course of a month, how much time do you spend there? Just
Probably
curious.
3 to 4 days on average. I'll pop in very unexpectedly or, so I come in quite often, but I've got other obligations and other companies I own and run. So I try to spend time with everything that I have.
Anybody else? Winner, step up.
Hello,
Name and address for the record.
Heather Stewart, 626 Bentley Road, parked in Maryland, 21120.
And you're the manager's generally on the premises all the time?
Yes,
And on that particular night on March 10th, you were there, but nobody came up to you and said anything that this girl solicited anybody, is that correct?
correct.
And you keep a pretty good watch on what's going on out there?
Absolutely.
And as determined by Mr. Hatmaker, if there's any inkling that there's any one of these girls is doing anything, you terminate them, is that correct?
Yes, right away.
And it would be fair to say that some of these girls work in shifts, which means some of them leave different times, 8 o'clock at night. And
Yes.
they may leave with somebody.
Yes, they do not have to stay a shift.
Okay. So there's times when they would be talking to somebody and they may leave with them, is that correct?
Absolutely.
All right. And when was the first time, was it a week or so later you found out about this particular case?
I found out about it when we received it in the mail. We had no idea that she said anything to the gentleman. Nobody had said anything to me on my shift. We didn't know about it until we received it in the mail.
I have no further questions.
Was there a search warrant that night?
Yes.
That was a charge that's been dismissed.
But police entered your facility and searched the facility, right?
Yes.
But they didn't tell you anything about the girl soliciting them?
Oh,
right?
no, not at all.
How many police were in
I
there?
didn't even see a search warrant.
How many police were in there that night?
How many police?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
10?
I would say about 10,
Yeah,
15.
and not one of them said anything to you?
No, nothing.
All right.
Questions from the commissioners?
None?
Yeah.
Close, Mr. Knight.
Once again, we have a case, or lack thereof is probably what I like to say it is. The person who really, if they did do or requested this, is not here, hasn't been summoned, hasn't been charged, and we don't even know what happened on that. Yet, the licensee is being charged with allowing an illegal or illegal conduct, which is not illegal at this point because there's been no determination on it. This condom thing, it seems to be, floating around. They give them out in schools. They give them out, on the block. They give needles out, and that's the society we live in. If there were used condoms, who knows whether they were used there or somewhere else, what it had to do with the girls. It has no bearing on this case. I think in the case here, if on the rule says, you have to suffer, allow it to happen, you have to tell me that it happened. Suppose somebody was in the far reaches of the place where, with somebody, and they were back there doing, some things, doing a hand jive for a second, right? And you were saying, I know what's going on over there. And you go back and you say, hold it. What are you doing? You're not supposed to do that here. You're out of here. But if you didn't see it, you would know what they did. There's no indication here that, A, there's a private room. No, we didn't. A police officer was candid about it. B, she just had to get a private room. And as they testified, people would leave, with their dates or whatever you want to call them at that point. So there's no indication that anything was even going to be contemplated at this location. So I really think you have a dearth of evidence. There's a place that's been there for years. They haven't had any problems. And in this case here, it's weaker than weak.
You done?
Yes, sorry.
4.18 has been dismissed at the request of staff. Rule 9 is, I believe, duplicitous in that it talks about the same fact scenario in 4.17 and lists as probable cause for a search warrant for drugs. We don't have any testimony to that. So I think that Rule 9, the first part at least, merges with 4.17. So the question then is, does 4.17 prevail? And I think that it does. So now the question is, what happens with regard to the imposition of a sentence, which I will defer to the other commissioners. Mr. Jones?
Well, first offense, most fine you can do on a first offense is $500. Other punitive action, I would say suspend for the weekend. The act was agreed upon, so something did happen. So I'll say $500 fine plus fee and 3 days suspension.
Mr. Trotter?
Well, one thing that can be done in these facilities is put more cameras in. So you can stop any act by cameras in the back of the room, in private rooms, in bathrooms, et cetera, except in bathrooms. But most facilities, adult entertainment facilities, have adequate cameras. I agree with Mr. Jim. 3 days, $500.
3 days, 500.
So that's a total of $625. How long do you need to pay? 7 days enough? Okay, 7 days. Thank you.
You don't have La Ramba, do you?
No,
But in reference to what you were just saying, there was a case just recently at the Diamond where it's a question of who assaulted who, and they had cameras, but it happened right then, so simultaneously they downloaded it and were able to prove that the police had nothing to do with it. But you got to tell them when it happens. You can't come back a week later and say,
I agree.
Oh, did we lose somebody for a second?
Yeah, he had to.
Okay,
Run out. We're off the record.
we're off
just
the
for a
record.
second.
Okay, then I can write my notes.
One of our commissioners. No, he'll be back.
Of course.
John, you testifying?
I provided Mr. Ramos a copy of this letter already, so he has it, he has also a copy of the report.
Mr. who?
Ramos.
Yes.
Okay.
He already has a copy of that, and then one for ROP,
Okay. All right, well, we're waiting for him to come back.
I just want to make sure you all had it.
Yep, no worries. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me?
To start immediately or
Yes, immediately.
So Thursday instead of Friday? Okay, the other one you had starting on Friday.
Yeah, the other one started on Friday.
Okay, great. I'll start to read this one into the next one.
This one is immediate.
Okay, great. So the next one is going to be Tiana Ramos, La Rumba LLC. Trade name is La Rumba at 1650-54 East Pratt Street. This is a Class BD7. There are a series of 4 violations. I'll just read the rules in regards to those violations that happened, that were all cited on the same day. The first rule is 3.05 in regards to lighting. I have both Inspector Granacolis and Inspector Chrysamalis here, and Lieutenant Coburn was also there in regards to these findings. That there was completely dark. They could not find, there was lack of lighting inside the bar. The next violation is 3.06, same day, July 18th. This is safety and sanitation. The bathrooms, and there was no paper towels, no tissue, no soap, and they lacked doors, so there was a violation in regards to safety and sanitation of the bathrooms. The next one was 3.07, again with restroom facilities, same issues. And 4.18 is illegal conduct, July 18th again, in regards to the fact that there were exposed wires, there was interior and exterior trash and debris, and also that there's numerous health violations that our inspectors cited. So all that information has been included with some photos. I also have received a letter from Fells Prospect in regards to and I believe the person's there on the behalf, but I'm sure that you only listen for mitigation issues.
So, just so I understand, we have 2 inspectors, and this young lady, you're Fells Prospect?
President Fells Prospect.
Okay. And you, sir, I assume are Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Okay. Do you contest any of these charges?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
You do. Put your right hands up. Everybody put your other right hand. Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Who wants to go? No, you can put your hand down. Who's going to go first?
I'll
You
go
go
first.
ahead.
Inspector Chris Amalis, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On Saturday, July 18th at approximately 12:55 a.m., Inspectors Chris Amalis and Chronocolis, while on duty working with Lieutenant Coburn from the Baltimore City Southeast District, entered the establishment located at 1650 East Pratt in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, known as La Rumba. After making entrance, we observed the back section of the bar where the restrooms are located was completely dark. At that time, Inspector Chris Amalis asked the security how the location was operating without any lights in the back section, and was told, "I don't operate anything, I'm just working the door." At that time, Inspector Chris Amalis asked the security to call the manager and/or owner. While waiting for the manager, Inspector Chris Amalis and Lieutenant Coburn entered the area with flashlights, saw that there was no paper towels, no bathroom tissue, no soap. The bathrooms did not have doors. After a couple of minutes, the owner-manager turned on the breaker, provided lights for the back room. We explained to him that this cannot be turned off in the rear while being operated for business. After further investigation, Inspectors Chris Amalis and Chronocolis found a closet that had exposed wires and trash. At this time, we notified the owner of the violations in the rear bathrooms and the violations in the closet. The establishment was in clear violation of Rule 3.02, 3.06, 3.07, 3.12, and Rule 4.18.
Do you have any questions for this gentleman?
The problem about the breaker, I was right there, tried to turn on because we put the air condition was too hot, and we had the window air condition. The business don't make a lot of money, and I just try to fix it before I own Arcos, and it's closed. So I concentrate on Rumba, and Rumba is working just to pay bills and making no money, but to have the air condition, and we turn it on, and I was there, and I was exactly when they go in, I was turn on the brake because it was the air condition. So what I did, I turned off the other refrigerator because the kitchen is no operate right now. So and then was okay.
So I'll take that as a question. Do you have any other questions from this gentleman?
No, I think the when they went to the bathroom and the paper in the bathroom we keep in a closet, and we put right away the paper and soap.
sometimes you know, believe it or not, the customer go into the bathroom and take the paper and the soap. You know, I have some problem over there, and I there most of the weekend, and I try to, you know, to work with to try to put everything together. And everything is fixed right now, the wire and everything, you know, because again, we have some electrical problem, and we try to fix it, and it's when we remove it, you know, to try to see what is the problem with the wire, because before have no problem with the electrical.
You know, I think we're getting into your side of the case a little bit more than I want to get into. So, Mr. Caranicola, step up here. Is there anything that you want to add to what the testimony that Mr. Christomala gave? So essentially, your testimony reiterates what he says about the sanitary conditions and the paper conditions, et cetera. Is that right? Do you have any questions for him?
No.
No. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
My name's Chrissy Henderson. I'm the president of Fells Prospect. We are a bordering neighborhood association in that area, which is otherwise kind of desolate. We began receiving complaints probably late May, early June about La Rumba and the deplorable conditions that were around it. And we were also contacted anonymously by somebody that claimed to be a tenant and was told that they had no water, they had no electricity, and that kind of stuff. And just to give you an idea of what you're looking at,
I'm
now
sorry.
I included this in the letter, but these are the color photographs. This is what we experience on a daily basis
I got
with this.
You have a copy?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I see them but they're not in color, so.
So I just wanted everybody to be able to see that. That lot and that building have had many violations. We're talking zoning, code, housing, liquor board violations. The building at one point was considered unstable, and I don't know what happened, if it was abated after that. We've also witnessed people just completely inebriated coming out of there, passing out in the back. Dumping, which is something that's been ongoing since September of 2014 at the earliest that I can remember. This isn't the first time that it's happened. And another issue most recently that we've had was live entertainment, where we did call inspectors, and I believe they responded about 2 weeks ago. And I know it's not for the same violation, but it just gives you kind of a history of what's been happening this entire time, and it's also in my letter as well.
I have a
Yes, so the two lots behind it, you can actually kind of scroll through here if you'd like. They also built this to house the trash that they've had back there, which they have been told previously. This wall was erected probably early June, and it was not taken down until early September. And this is not the first time that this has happened. So this was last year in September. There were numerous cars that had no tags, that were illegal, that were dumped there. There was a ton of trash from the bar, which you can clearly see all the bottles.
Okay, well, we're talking about July 18th. I mean, I understand that you have the pictures from September, but we're talking about July 18th, okay? Now, when the complaint about the live entertainment, was that as a result of a 311 call? I'm curious.
That was me calling 911 after I drove past and could
911.
hear,
Okay.
I could hear it literally 4 blocks away, and I saw people, you know, coming in and out, and it was.
Okay. Now, you contacted zoning, housing, health department, or someone did, right? Do you have any idea of what the resolution was from any of those 3 departments?
There were multiple violations that will be upcoming that I was told with zoning and I believe code enforcement. I'm not sure about housing. I've been in touch with them recently as well, but there's still some investigations going on. We also have concerns again about the water issue, which we've been told by people that wish to remain anonymous because it does not bode well for them. And we've also done some research, and there's water issue being that there is no water half the time. They have a water shutoff notice for the 28th of this month because they owe $8,000 for water bill. And I also
This
have
is
that in an
no
image
problem.
as well.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
questions?
First of all, Rumba has nothing to do with the empty lot. And the empty lot, the city owns an empty lot, and a lot of people don't. Yes, I own 1642, but this is 10 lot. 10 lot.
own-
Let me speak, and then you speak. This empty lot is nothing to do. And the people, the working over there and they stay over there in Rumba, is people that have problem. It's homeless people, and they not live in my place, and they not stay over there. I try to help everything I can because they alcoholic and drug. Yeah, it's people high over there, but they not live over there. People walking on the street. Let me finish. This lot was clean and is clean completely. People dump every day, and I put a person to ensure that no parking over their car because was parking car from somebody else. And I remove in my lot, but the other lot is the city and somebody else private lot. And I clean. And I was president of the Spanish Commissioner in Broadway, and I am the governor commissioner, and right now I'm the Spanish commissioner. And I work more for my Latino community more than you. The people over there, I was over there 20 years ago when was a lot of prostitution and a lot of drug problem. And this was all vacant houses. And I start by over there with Ever Portillo and the other people. And the first people that was over there in Fall Point and right there in Broadway was the Latinos. The Latinos was there.
Mr. Ramos, let me stop you for a second. We're not here about politics. We're not here about the Latino community. We're not here about the Oriental community, Asian community, black community. Nobody's targeting anyone. What we're concerned about is what happened on July 18th, okay? So that's what I want to hear about. I don't want you to get into it with her about what happened and homeless people and how you're helping everybody out. I want to know about what happened on July the 18th when these gentlemen came out and came into your establishment. They're saying that there wasn't any paper towels, that there was unsanitary conditions, there wasn't any toilet paper, that there was no lights in the bathroom, and you switched the breaker, and there was electrical issues. That's what I want to hear about.
Okay.
Okay.
We had inspector from the health department about the no water and no electric, and she checked over there 3 times. And I have a letter from her.
That's
and was water. It was water, never cut off.
Mr.
Never
Ramos.
turned off the water.
1 second. When the inspector came in on the 18th, did you or did you not have lights on in the bathroom? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
The breaker
Then
was
I
off.
want to know about the
Okay,
electrician that
okay,
came in later,
okay,
okay?
okay.
So now, on the 18th, when they came in, did you or did you not have paper products available? Yes or no?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's all I need to know. Now, what else would you like to tell me that I don't want to hear about anything else for anybody else other than July the 18th? Okay?
I put paper right away in the bathroom, and the breaker was off, and I put turner off when they was there immediately before I speak with
That's
them.
a prospective remedy. Do you understand what that mean by that? That means that after they told you, you went ahead and fixed it, okay?
Because I don't know, the paper wasn't there, and I checked. And
okay,
yes, I
okay.
fixed it immediately. The soap and the paper and the breaker I was over there working in the electric when the breaker. But water was over there all the time. I never have off water in my building, never.
Okay.
And never have the electric off in my building from beginning.
Mr. Trotter, just hold for a minute. Mr. Trotter?
The property next to you is not yours.
It's nothing to do with Rumba. It's under GNN. It's the empty lot.
Who put up the wall?
Huh?
Who put up the wall?
Oh, the wall over there, the empty lot, yes, was my property, the empty lot. But it's not Rumba. It's a GNN property.
Okay.
Who owns GNN?
I have a partner with GNN, Gene Model and me.
You're part owner of that.
Part
lot.
order.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. Jones?
All my questions have been answered already, sir.
Is this a viable business? Is this a viable business?
Does the business run well? Does it make money? Do you do okay?
I kept, we have problem, everybody, after the recession, and everybody have problem. Right now, nobody making really money in the business, but I just try to make it. I have family, and I have 4 kids, and it's the only business right now that I have Rumba, and I there all the time.
Is this, Madam Secretary, is this the first offense for this establishment?
No, the first offense occurred in 2013. It was a sale to minors that occurred on 9/19/2013. Last year, there was a similar, there were some similar complaints, and they were abated. So back in September of 2014, I believe Mark Fossler, at the time, was acting chief. He went out there and he also took some photos from September of 2014. But
In reference to?
in reference to some garbage and trash issues, but they were abated by the licensee. So there was no charges that were brought forward.
Okay. This is my decision, Mr. Ramos. It's my opinion, I don't know what the other inspectors are gonna say, that all 4 of these violations merge. That means they all go together into one. All right? The fine is $750, no suspension. And it's up to the other commissioners what they want to do. They can raise it, they can lower it, do whatever they want.
If you're going to combine them into one,
Yes,
$750,
yes,
I agree with you.
okay. Mr. Trotter?
This is very close to a blight on the community, very close.
Mhm.
Okay? I know you're a struggling businessman, but, I would say, well, 2 have already voted, so my vote really doesn't count. But if it comes before us again, I would recommend closing you.
So, Mr. Ramos, here's the bottom line. Today, we're going to merge all 4. You're going to have a $750 fine plus administrative costs. These issues are sanitary issues. I am not deaf to the problem that it creates for the community. And I will tell you what Mr. Trotter has told you. If you have other violations that come before this board, then you're going to have serious problems as to whether or not you're going to stay in operation. Now, those folks aren't going to go away. So you have 2 options. Clean it up, be a good neighbor, or come back here and lose your license. End of the line.
It's already clean up. This is going. This is clean up.
Well,
But
I'm not
I-
sure
I-
that
I-
it is,
I-
okay?
I-
You need to speak with this lady. You need to sort it out, because you have 2 options. Clean it up and be a good neighbor, or come back here and let us be the bad guys. Okay, Paz, you understand?
I understand.
Okay.
Mr. Ramos, how long would you need to pay? I know that before that there's some, 1 week is good, 7 days?
Okay, thank you.
So that's a total of $875.
That's it.
That is it. I know. We'll see how it goes.
There's another violation.
It's pending. Yeah.
And that's what I had thought. I couldn't bring that up.
No, you can't bring up the pendings. No, no, no.
And she's saying no party, so there might be a position.
It happens.
That's interesting.
Just say the least. What? Go down Palmer Street and get it. They have plenty.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Hold it.
Excellent job.
What?
Very good.
Indicated he was going to go opposite.
I'm married,
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
It's nice to see he got 1 vote against him already.
He's already got 1 vote against him. He knows.
No, that means you're, folks, I'm going back to work the other job that pays me
Pays him good
a little bit more money. Always good.